Good morning. Our learning objective today is to understand the place value of decimals. This is something that we touched on last week, and we're going to build on that information today and then use it to compare decimals later in the lesson. Now you can watch this video all at once and then complete the tasks, or you can pause it along the way to complete the tasks as we go along. So here I have my place value grid. Thousands, hundreds, tens, ones, decimal point, tenths and hundreds. This is something that we used last week, so you should be familiar with it. It's important to note the difference between these. So we've got hundreds and hundreds, tens and tenths. They sound quite similar, but they are different. So it's important that you spell those correctly. Okay. So here I've got 2.35. I've got 2 ones, 3 tenths and 5 hundredths. In 5.10 I have got 5 ones, 1 tenth and 0 hundredths. You could just say 5.1. In this number 65.21 I have 6 tens, 5 ones, 2 tenths and 1 hundredth. I want you to have a little think about this question. You don't have to write anything down, but which digit is worth 3 hundredths? A, 3.21, B, 1.32, or C, 2.13? Just give you a couple of seconds there to think about it before I reveal the answer. The answer is C, 2.13. Okay, there is a 3 in the hundredths column. There are 3 hundredths in this number. Okay, I want you to have a little go at this activity. What is the value of the underlined digit? Okay, you can write these down or just think about it in your head. You don't need to submit this to eSchools. So the first number is 5.78. What is the value of this 5? This 5 is in the ones column, so it is 5 ones. Okay? You can pause the video now to have a go at that activity before I go through the answers. So you should all have had a go at that, and I'm going to go through the answers now. So for this second one, 0.82, 2 is underlined, and that is 2 hundredths, because the 2 is in the hundredths column. For the third number, 9.04, the 4 is underlined, and that is 4 hundredths, because it's in the hundredths column. The fourth number, 11.33, this underlined 3 is worth 3 tenths, because 3 is in the tenths column. The final question, 34.09. Okay, we've got the 3 underlined again, but it's in a different place this time. And this time it's worth 3 tens because it's in the tens column. Now here we have a part-whole model. Okay. In the top I have my whole, it's 0.32. And underneath we've split that down into 0.3 and 0.02. Combined together they make 0.32. I'm going to use this idea for the next questions. So can you partition this number? Don't worry if you can't yet, I'm going to go through this one as an example. Some of you might have seen questions like this on your big maths click sheet. So I'm going to start with the 4. Now that is in the ones column, so that is equal to 4, okay, or 4 ones. Next I've got 3, and that is in the tenths column, so that is equal to 0.3 or 3 tenths. Next I've got 2, and that is in the hundredths column, so that is equal to 0.02 or 2 hundredths. Next, I have 8.07. Okay, can you have a go at partitioning this number? You might want to pause the video now to have a go, and then I'll show you the answers in a second. Okay, so we've got 8 in the ones column, so that is 8 or 8 ones. We have 0 in the tenths column, so that should be 0.0 or 0 tenths. Or we have 7 in the hundredths column, that's 0.07 or 7 hundredths. Okay, the next number, 90.91. You can pause the video to have a go at this yourself, or continue listening for the answer. So I have 90.91. 9 in the tens column, so that is 90 or 9 tens. 0 in the ones column, so that's 0 or 0 ones. 9 in the tenths column, so 0.9 or 9 tenths. And 1 in the hundredths column, so 0.01 or 100th. I'd like you to have a go. This is your first task at these questions and partitioning these numbers. Okay? I'd like you to write this down on a piece of paper or in a Word document and submit this onto eSchools. So for question 1, 3.54 can be split into 3 ones, 5 tenths and 4 hundredths. You can either write it like this or like this. Just choose one, you don't need to do both. Okay, so 3, 0.5 and 0.04. You can either pause the video now to have a go at this or have a go at it after watching the whole video. Okay, we're now going to use our knowledge of place value to compare numbers with decimals. So to start off, we're going to have a think about which one of these numbers is larger. I have 1.6 and 1.1. I'm going to start comparing these at the ones column. I have 1 in the ones column and 1 in the ones column here. Okay. In the next column, okay, so that means they've both got the same amount of ones. So we'll look at the next column, which is the tenths. This number has 6 tenths and this number has 1 tenth. That must mean that this number is larger because it has more tenths. And so we use this symbol to show that. 1.6 is greater than 1.1. Now remember that the crocodile eats the largest number. So the next numbers that I'm going to compare are 3.6 and 4.9. Start with the ones column again. So this number has 3 ones and this number has 4 ones. So I know straight away that this number is larger because it has more ones. And I'll use this symbol to show that. 3.6 is less than 4.9. Here we've got 2 more numbers, 4.71 and 4.97. Start off with the ones. Now they both have 4 in their ones column. So I'll move to the tenths column. Now this one has 7 tenths and this one has 9 tenths. So that must mean that this number is larger because it has more tenths. 4.71 is less than 4.97. 2 more numbers, 5.37 and 5.32. They both have the same amount of ones. So I'll move to the tenths. Now they both have the same amount of tenths, 3. So I'll move to the hundredths column to compare them. This one has 7 hundredths and this one has 2 hundredths. So this number is larger because it has more hundredths. 5.37 is greater than 5.32. Now task 2, I'd like you to compare these numbers with decimals using the greater than and less than symbol. The first one has been done for you. 0.2 is less than 0.9. They both don't have any 1s, but this one has 2/10, whereas this one has 9/10. Okay, so that one is larger. Have a go with the other questions. Again, either write them into a Word document to copy into eSchools or on a piece of paper to take a picture. After you've done this, there is the optional challenge of going on to Mathletics to complete the Comparing Decimals activity.